How are you guys doing? Welcome back to the first official podcast of the Vagrant podcast channel. Um, Today's topic is going to be on relationships, and I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. Hopefully in the future, maybe we can touch on this subject again. But just for tonight, just for right now, it's gonna be a little shorter. So let's just get into it. It's late night right now. It's 1 in the morning. Just felt like coming on here and just talking. So on the topic of relationships, I'm not gonna get too much into detail, of course. I'm not gonna give out personal information. But I just wanted to kind of use this right now to just talk a little bit about my past relationships, talk about, things that went wrong, things that were my fault, things that I wish I would have done different, and things that, maybe, can help someone out there that's listening to this right now. Um, I'm not going to get too much into details, with intimacy and things like that, because that's not really what this is about right now. But, so bear with me. um, every relationship I've had has always ended, I mean, they've always ended because of a big, impasse. You know what I mean? It's never just been because we're just tired or we're just bored. It's always been because of a big impasse, you know what I'm saying? And for example, one of the relationships that I ended years ago, I was just, I guess it wasn't much of an impasse, but I just kind of wanted to have fun with my friends and kind of do my own thing, if that makes sense to anybody. And the girl that I was seeing at the time, she wanted a lot more than that. I was a lot younger. I was barely 17, 18. I was pretty young, right? Um, I wasn't ready for anything like that, you know? I wasn't ready for something serious. I wasn't ready for a commitment. And I know for a lot of us, when we're in that puppy love stage, we think about these things and we talk about marriage and kids one day. And it's so beautiful when when you feel so in love and it's so real in the moment. But that's the weird thing about, even during that time, I never felt those feelings. I never felt that way. So that says a lot in itself, you know what I mean? To me anyways. Um but yeah, so the girl basically, she was a hardworking girl. She worked from home. She ran a couple businesses, selling clothes, and she would flip vehicles and luxury items that she would refurbish. And she did this, pretty hardcore. And you wouldn't believe, the money she'd make. You know what I mean? I've tried that in the past before, and I hardly made anything. Flipping old, gaming systems or sneakers or some designer, t-shirts and polo shirts and things like that. And I hardly made crap, and I kind of gave up for that reason. Um, but she was making a lot more. She was doing a lot. She was making a lot. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second. Um, yeah, so she'd make really good money doing this, and she was pretty well off. She didn't own her own home yet, but she was, you know, buying a home or whatever you want to call it, and in a pretty nice side of town, and in a pretty nice home, a pretty nice neighborhood, and on her own. But she made a really good chunk of change. I don't really remember exactly the exact amounts, but she made a lot of money. She made pretty good money, for being a young woman, or a young, or a young person, And she had like a pretty good social media presence for her business, so that also helped a lot. And I saw her as a real serious girl. She was already on, set, for herself and her life and all that. And I obviously wasn't, there, nowhere near. Um, Sorry about that, guys. My mic kind of technical difficulties. I'm still trying to get used to all these settings on this, system here. Anyways, so she already had, herself all planned out. She already had her future planned out. I was just a stupid kid in high school at the time. I was using drugs. I was drinking alcohol every day. I was just hanging out with my friends and getting high and being stupid. Getting in trouble and all that. That's for a different discussion. But I was just, doing my thing, enjoying my youth, the best way I knew how at the time. And marriage and kids and a house up in the white picket fence areas and all that, it wasn't nowhere near my visions. You know what I'm saying? So at one point, that I ended it with her because she kind of put that fork in the road, saying that she needs me to buckle down a bit and get more serious. And I was already 17, 18. That's around the time when you graduate high school or so normally, right? So it would make sense for someone to start buckling down and getting their head right. But for me, it took longer. I guess they say women mature faster than some men, and that's true for some people, and it definitely was for me in this scenario anyways. So that was one relationship. I ended it with her because I obviously wasn't who she needed, and she was real hurt by that. She, had a hard time letting go, and at the time, I was just okay with it, like it wasn't anything to me, and I feel bad about that, you know. Um, I last I heard of her, she's doing good now. She's still, doing her business and being successful, and I wish her well, and I'm really happy for her. Um, and it took a couple years for me to realize that I was wrong and that she, deserved a better me at that time. And if I could go back and change who I was and change my mindset, I definitely would. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, we can't go to the past. We can't change our mistakes. We can't change, history. What's done is done. But what we can do is learn from those things and try to never repeat them, you know? Excuse me. And I watch a lot of Boogie here on YouTube, Boogie2988. Um, and he has a video up somewhere. He has a video up somewhere on his channel talking about relationships. And he made a really good point in one of those videos. He said, every relationship that ends, this is pretty true for me anyways as well. He said any relationship that ends, you usually get this big list of crap that you screwed up on or what's wrong with you at the end of it, right? When you break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, or if they break up with you, they normally tell you why. You're clingy, you have jealousy issues, you're too aggressive, you're too rude, you're too vulgar, you don't treat me right, you don't respect me, you're lazy, you're not ambitious, or whatever the issues are. And Boogie said, when a relationship ends, that you should be, I know of course it's going to be sad and hard, he said, but you should try to see the positive in it, that this person let you know that, they're not the one for you, obviously, and that, they're letting you go so that you can fix yourself for the next person or for the right person. And he said, take that big laundry list that they give you and start working on it. And that makes a lot of sense to me. And that's exactly what I started to do more recently with my past couple relationships. When one would end, and I get this list of garbage that's wrong with me or that I screwed up on, you start to focus on those things and see the truth in them and the ones that are true, and then try to fix that so that when you move on to the next person, you don't take all that crap with you. You know, you bring a new and improved version of yourself. And that's great. That's a beautiful thing. You know, another relationship I had, got ruined because of some mental health issues that, I was struggling with at the time. And it just really made it hard for me to be the person that, she needed to be. She needed me to be. And she stuck around for as long as she could, and unfortunately, I guess she just gave up, and it led to kind of deceit and, you know what I mean, things like that. And the relationship had to end because of it. And you know what, I was really broken after that, and I blamed myself, you know instead of blaming her for her actions, for her being deceitful, for her, whatever you want to call it. I blamed myself. And it took a lot of people to tell me that it wasn't all my fault, but I really truly blame myself. I hated myself. I absolutely despised me. I despised my ways. I despised my tongue. I despised my mind. Um, you know, but I dropped all that, because even if I struggle with mental health or mental stability, I might get stressed sometimes or overly anxious sometimes or whatever. But you know what? Regardless of that, nobody deserves to be cheated on or to be, played for a fool or whatever. And it happens to a lot of people, and I feel like sometimes we blame ourselves for that reason. Like, what could I have done different? But you know what? Regardless of what I could have did different, that still would have probably happened because that's in that person. But after about a week or two of just sulking around and just hating myself, I decided to start fixing what I knew was wrong. So I was at rock bottom when this happened, when this occurred. I was at rock bottom. You know, no job, no happiness, no fun, no friends, no real communication with too many people, never leaving the house. I was really struggling with anxiety issues and all kinds of different things. And I used those moments of hatred towards myself, to finally stand up and want to turn it around. And I said, you know what? Sure, there's things wrong with me, but I'm not going to let this just get me deeper. I'm going to turn it around and start fixing myself. And you know what? A lot of people out there that have mental disorders, like mental illness, I know it's hard. I know it seems impossible. And you know what? Maybe it's never going to be cured. Maybe you're never going to have a perfect life. Maybe you're never going to be 100% happy. But I can promise you something. Coming from someone that's been diagnosed with multiple mental illness disorders for years now and has struggled for years on different medications, for those mental illness is, it can get better. Just sitting around at home, it's not going to get better. But if you're tired of feeling depressed, if you're tired of being anxious or of dealing with the things you deal with, whether or not people believe in it, you know it's real. We know it's real. We know what we struggle with. Just talk to a therapist, talk to your doctor, talk to someone that can help you. But that's another discussion for a different time. So anyway, so after this relationship, ended, um I started to fix myself. I started rebuilding from rock bottom. And it's honestly been great. Shortly after, I'm the happiest. I was the happiest that I've ever been. I started talking to a lot of people. I started trying to get out more. I started to fix everything that was on that laundry list of brokenness that was wrong with that relationship. And you know what? That's the best thing. Right now I don't want another relationship. I'm just having fun. I'm just enjoying talking to people. I'm just enjoying going out. But I don't want another serious relationship for a very long time, if, any time. But I'm really happy that that whenever I do become more serious with somebody in the future, that they're not going to have to deal with as much as the last person did. And for that, I can thank that person. I can say thank you for waking me up and letting me know everything that I did wrong. And me being the person that I am, the person that never gives up, no matter what, no matter how down and defeated I am, I'm going to try to fix that, you know? But anyways, that's enough of that. That's just some, that's kind of depressing stuff in a way, right? But okay, let's brighten up the conversation a bit. So let's just talk about other relationships. Um, Another relationship I was in, this girl, she, it's kind of another thing, about an impasse. I met this girl, and we connected, we clicked or whatever, and I won't say religious, but she was a spiritual girl. She believed in God. She attended church. She was active in her church, which is fine. That's a good thing. Good for her. And at the time, I wasn't really much of a believer in anything. Um, I didn't really care to hear about anything like that. And when you're looking for something serious or long term, if your guys' beliefs in that kind of way don't align, it's never gonna work. So that was something. We had a lot of similarities. We had a lot in common. We really had a lot of fun together. We enjoyed our time together. We connected very fast. But like I said at the time, I didn't want nothing to do with anything having to do with spirituality or anything like that. So we kind of mutually ended it, you know. Um, it was a little bit more on her side because she really wanted someone that could kind of match her in her, activities at church and stuff. And that obviously wasn't going to be me. So I just took that as okay, well then we should end things. And we did. Um, and well, that, oh well. But yeah, again, it's one of those things that if I had just changed my ways, or if maybe she had given me more time, I could have, become the person that she needed, or I could have seen things in her way, or, whatever. But, everything happens for a reason. And sometimes I think if it's meant to be, it's going to be, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I'm saying? So if, you're meant to be with that person, it'll work itself out, you know? Everything will fall into place. But if it's not meant to be, it's just not. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, that's pretty much the blunt of it for now. Um, but yeah, what Boogie said in that video really just speaks to me, and it continues to speak to me. You know, take that big laundry list of things that are messed up with you and try to fix it, you know? Try to fix it for the next girl, for the next guy, so that they don't have to put up with it the same that the last person did. So that they don't have to deal with the issues the last person dealt with. And you know what? If every single one of us did that, or if we at least tried that, you have no idea how much better our situations can get. And that's not just with the relationship, that's just in general. When we're down and out, when we're lacking in an area, when we're messed up in an area, and someone comes around to wake you up and just throw it in your face of what it is, we can just deflect, blame it on the world, blame it on other people. And I've done that a lot. Or we can say, you know what, man, maybe they're right, and try to change it. try to fix it and try to work on it. And that's what I'm trying to do every single day. From now on, from these past couple of months, that's recently what I'm starting to do. And I can tell you, I'm a lot happier. I'm not as angry. I'm not as mad. I'm not as upset. I'm not as bitter. I'm not as salty or whatever. Everything just is a little better. Things aren't perfect, but I'm happier. I'm happy that I'm working on myself, that I'm working on things, that the next group of friends, that the next girlfriend, that the next, group or whatever of friends or whatever, they're not going to have to deal with that because I'm fixing it right now. And that really makes you feel good about yourself. But another thing too, when you're in a relationship, when you're in relationships, it's always about give and take. You always want to create a good balance, and that's a thing that I've always really had a hard time with. Um, I can say I haven't been in that many relationships. If I want to just give a variant average number, maybe I'd say maybe around 5 serious relationships, and you know, several other just not so serious things. Um, but of those 5 serious relationships, I think pretty much every single one of them, except maybe one, we always let the boundaries, like there were no boundaries, and that's something that really can cause a lot of chaos. And what I mean by that is, for example, one relationship I had, this girl had such terrible insecurity and jealousy issues that she would like go crazy if I was to follow another girl on Instagram, or like a girl's Instagram photo, or have a girl's phone number in my phone. And that kind of behavior is kind of on the verge of like, you're kind of nuts. You're kind of a nut in your head. And I can say that I have mental illness issues. Um, and that's the thing, is when you see this behavior and you don't try to confront it and you just let it happen, you're enabling it, and it's only going to get worse. And I know some people can't help it. I know some of us can't help how jealous we get or how passionate we are. I understand that. But you need to realize that there's a balance, and you need to have respect for yourself and that other person. If you're with somebody and you can't trust them enough to have a female's name on their phone, or a man's name on their phone, there's something wrong with you, and you shouldn't be in that relationship because you're obviously not ready for it. And with my relationships in the past, so many of the girls that I was with, they all had that issue. Not to the same degree, but they were all crazy jealous, crazy insecure. Where if I even mentioned like, yeah, when I was riding the bus today, there was some homeless lady, talking to herself or doing this or that. They just, oh, why were you looking at some other lady? Like blah 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 blah. That's like psychotic behavior, and that's really screwed up. And when I was with these relationships with this kind of stuff going on, instead of me addressing it and saying like, okay, this crap needs to stop, I didn't. I just kind of went with it and let myself, just get stepped all over, and at the end of it, it's just terrible, you know. And I remember one of the more recent relationships I had, when I first got into it with her, she mentioned that she had some jealousy issues. And I said, okay, well, I understand, and, that's fine. I told her this. I said, but we need to create some boundaries. I said, I'm not cool with you looking through my phone or looking at my stuff or stalking me on my Instagram and Facebook and Twitter to see what I'm doing or who I'm following. I'm like, I'm not okay with that. That's personal information. Privacy needs to stay intact. And I'm not okay with that kind of stuff. You need to have basic trust for me. And she agreed. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. I understand that. And guess what? By the end of it, like I said, Not allowed to have any female friends, not allowed to go out where there's going to be a lot of females, not allowed to go out alone where there's going to be single women there, not allowed to have a girl's name on my phone or on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. That is absolutely ridiculous. And if that's the kind of behavior people are going to have, then you don't need to be in a relationship, you know? But I'm not a saint either. You know what I'm saying? I don't have jealousy issues, but I have, what's the word they say? Because people can be jealous, they can be like insecure. That's it. Possessive. I'm a very possessive person when it comes to a relationship. Um, what I mean by that is, and I don't think this is so much a bad thing, but I definitely do think in the past I've let it get kind of bad. You know, possessiveness, at least for myself, and at least what these women have described it, is like, you know, when a dog pees on a tree or claims a bed, and then another dog wants to come by and do it, and that dog gets into that stance where its butt goes in the air and its hind legs are all, you know, quartered up, and they're just ready to pounce and attack. That's like possessiveness. Like it's their property, it's their turf, it's their hood, it's their neighborhood, it's their block, it's their money, it's their gold. You're not gonna come and step on it, or you're gonna get killed, you're gonna get shot, you're gonna get bitten. And I think how I've been a lot with my relationships is I'm like that too, and I think that's healthy to a degree. But when you overdo that, I think that falls in line with insecurity. You know, because I think everybody needs to have a little possession over their man or their woman. I think that's nice. I think that's normal, and I think it's hot. I think that's cool, man. You know that your girl is possessive over you, that she wants to hold on to you, that you know she sees you as her king or as her leader. You know what I mean? And she finds comfort in your arms, and she wants to keep you there all for herself. I think that's adorable. That's adorable, and that's great. Every man wants that. And I think, you know, a man that wants to keep his woman safe and wants to keep her in his arms and in his hands and away from the world and away from other men, you know, and dangers or whatever. I think that's okay. I think that's cute. I think that's adorable if two people are on the same page with that. But I myself, in the past, have gone a little overboard. You know, where you were picking fights with people who leave a comment on her Instagram. You're threatening someone because they liked an Instagram photo of hers, or they commented like, "Wow, you look great," or someone who compliments her at work. You show up and try to beat the guy up. Like, sure, you can say, "Oh, that's you know, chivalrous or whatever, you know, whatever you want to call it," but I don't think it is. I think that just falls into insecurity. And those are things that I, in the past, have dealt with and that I maybe still need to work on. You know, my own possessiveness issues. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to not have insecurity about myself in that way. I've always been kind of comfortable with myself, whether I'm skinny or fat or tall or short or too dark or too light. I've never really been too insecure. Maybe I don't always like the way that I look, or my skin color, or my eye color, or my hair color, or my lips, or my face, or my, you know, whatever. But I've always been secure with myself. I've never really hated myself either, or disliked myself like, you know, that much or anything. But, but yeah, I think that's one of those things, you know, is if you have issues, if you know you're kind of screwed up a bit in the head with relationships and all that, I think we need to get help. All of us, you know, all the men out there, all the women out there, whoever listens, you know, don't just let it continue. If you want to be serious one day, if you want to find that man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams, you know, get serious about it. You know, start fixing that crap. You know what I'm saying? Don't just, if you know you have these issues in the back of your mind, if you know you have really bad jealousy issues or insecurity or possessiveness like I did, or maybe or maybe you're just an aggressive guy or an aggressive woman. Maybe you shout a lot. Maybe you like to cuss a lot when you're in an argument. You know, maybe you have these urges to put your hands on the other person. You know, like abuse and stuff. You know, a lot of these things we can't control, but what we can control is how we respond to them. So I mean, for me as well, and all the people listening out there, if you know you deal with one of these internal issues that nobody really knows about, and you know it's there, it's in like the deep down in the depths of your heart, in the depths of your being, you're a jealous person or you're aggressive or possessive. Seriously, I encourage you, try to fix it. Do baby steps on that. And I guarantee it, once you're free from that kind of behavior and you take it to a new person, you're going to feel so great knowing that, it's a new you. It's a new chapter for you. The one where you're not super jealous and crazy, or the one where you're not super angry and possessive. And it's going to feel really liberating. And I seriously encourage all of you guys to get out there and try it. I think that's probably going to be it for now, guys. I'm not really going off a script or nothing, or like a guideline that I normally would. I'm just kind of just free talking here. But yeah, if anybody, if you guys have any topics that like you want me to talk about or just have a discussion over, just let me know. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you're interested. If you find my voice calming, if you like to just listen to this while you're just playing your video games or chilling out, whatever. I have a few ideas of some future things to talk about, but I'm starting up classes here soon, and I've been like stumped with that and little things going on here. You know what I mean? So I've been kind of losing my train of thought a little bit as to what exactly I want to put on here, and what exactly topics I want to get on here. So yeah, if you guys know anything or you guys want me to speak about something specifically, let me know in the comments, message me or whatever. Let me know, comment down and tell me what you want to hear about. And I'm still in the process of trying to find that co-host I mentioned, but I mean, for all I know, it's not even going to happen. I've been reaching out to a lot of people. They've been reaching out to me. A lot of people, say they're interested, and then they just lose interest, or they just say, yeah, forget it, or they're just not the right fit. Um, a couple people have told me they're really interested, and then when we talk about it, on emails or the phone, they just mention things that just throws it off. Like, oh, but they want me to be paying them out of pocket right now for their services or whatever. And I'm like, but this is just supposed to be for fun. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's getting paid yet. I'm not getting paid doing this. Um, but yeah, so if I can find that right fit, then I will definitely have that co-host here. But if not, well then it'll just be me, for a good while. But anyways, guys, so this has been the first official podcast of Vagrant Podcast, and I will be seeing you guys later. Thanks for watching.